I don't know. I can't really make a good Jetsons noise, but can't even do that good of a picture. Welcome to the superpilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and today I'm going to be talking about the future of flight in my basement. Yeah, so I figured I'd whip up my best Jetsons artwork here, and we're going to go over 5 things today about the future of flying. Yeah, so it all. I always have a tough time trying to figure out what to do for a topic, and I don't know if I ever mentioned it here before, but I kind of have this kind of have a little theory, and I call it the 20-year theory, where uh, it's one of these things that as you get a little bit older, there's certain things you look at in life and you say, "Man, I couldn't have imagined this happening." And so I got this theory that it's like in 20 years, something's going to show up that you can't even imagine hardly. And it's kind of fun to, yeah, something in my eye. Yeah, it's kind of fun to guess at what can happen. But there's always some kind of technology that pops up or some world event happens, and you can't picture that coming. So it's best to be pretty flexible with what you want to do for a job. And if you're going to be a pilot, you're always going to be learning new things. There's always going to be new technology, new rules, new tech, like avionics or hardware or whatever you want to do. So I'm going to go over five things that I was just thinking about what could really happen in the future. And I was also kind of thinking about some old magazines I went through from the 1940s. There was another show I did on that. And, some of the stuff they kind of predicted, right? Or maybe because they predicted it, that's what happened. So I think we're going to the kind of Star Trek kind of thing where you we're going Star Trek style because it's like people aren't very creative. It's like someone comes up with something new and everyone goes, "Yeah, okay, I'll do that." And then if you can think of it, then it kind of happens, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about future flying. And one of the things that's affected everything in the world is the invention of the computer. That's changed everything. You're watching some sort of computer device. I'm talking to some little computer device in the basement. It's going all around the world, so that's pretty cool. And it generally goes in a positive direction. Yeah, you can use things for negative too. It's kind of one of those yin and yang things where you can get a lot of good over here, but you can get some bad over here, and it usually equals out. But generally, the way that humans evolve is that we always kind of end up a little bit better. So here we go. We're going to talk about, and then I was also thinking about, okay, what aspects of flying are there? Like each flight that you do, how is that going to change in the future? So I whipped out the old, what do we got here? The old flight test guide that I had lying around here for the private pilot license. And I was looking at exercise 23, pilot navigation, pre-flight planning procedures. So you got to plan where you're going to go before you go somewhere. You can't just hop in the plane and say, "Hey, I don't know where I'm going." Well, sometimes you can, but generally, if you want to get to some destination, you got to know what destination it is. So one of the biggest things is weather. So over the years, weather forecasting has become very, very accurate, very, very good. I remember somebody was telling me before what they used to do. The guy was telling me that when he was really, I don't know, I guess it'd be probably early 80s or something like that. He was learning how to fly, and one of the jobs was for the instructor for the morning to go up and fly around for a bit and see what the clouds are looking like, and then he would fly back or she would fly back and say, "Nah, it's looking bad," and then they cancel flying. But like now they got like really good sensors and radar and satellite and everything that you can see, rather than just going up and booting around and, oh yeah, the clouds are this high, and now they have sensors for that. So weather. Okay, so that's really good, and it'll only get better. It already is pretty normal for people to have live time weather in the airplanes. That will get better. So say weather, flight planning. So flight planning, I was looking at everything that you're supposed to be tested on for private pilot license, weather flight planning. And I was just thinking about, could technology take over any of that stuff and do in a lot of cases, technology already has replaced the things that you're learning for your private pilot license. And but the biggest thing there is going to be with AI popping in. Dun, 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 dun. Let's get a couple arrows on the AI. AI is pretty wild. There was I was with somebody who had a Chat GPT account, and we were fooling around on the computer one night and saying like, "Okay, Chat GPT, do this," and just type it in. It's printing up essays, it's doing all kinds of wild stuff. And now I'm thinking for the weather and the flight planning, it's going to be a Star Trek style pretty soon, where you'll just say like, "Computer, whatever, computer, tell me the weather on the way from Windsor to Kingston." Boom, weather report comes out. And then when you're in the airplane, computer, tell me or it'll be, computer, give me the information for the airport with at least a 3,000-foot paved runway that's closest to where I am right now. Boom, and it pops up. Like, so you're going to be having, like, it's going to be really wild. And who knows how long we'll be testing for, reading paper maps and things like that. But I mean, in the future, it's going to be pretty wild with the AI stuff, and that's going to replace. I was looking at, got my little book here. Everything that you got to do for your pre-flight planning procedures. There's a whole bunch of stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So like about 13 major things here. And finding out about NOTAMs, PIREPs, flight plans. You'll be able to do all of that just by, like, you hit a button and you'll talk to the AI in your computer and say, okay, alert the agencies I'm diverting from London to Kitchener. Boom, does it. Like, it'll be pretty wild. And you might not even need to talk to an air traffic controller. I'm sure they'll be around. Now, this would be for like the planes with like a lot of, people with a lot of money, like airlines, or even the more high-end personal use airplanes. But yeah, it's I was looking at all the stuff that we test on, and that could all get replaced by AI and computers. Easily done, voice activated, boom. And that's probably not that far away, but definitely within 20 years as part of my plan. Okay, the other thing that could be happening in the future, and there's been a lot of I don't know, research going on about we all want to be all nice and green and everything. What kind of fuel are these planes going to use? There's got to be some sort of energy that's getting used. So far, I don't know, the electric stuff, electric planes, drones, things like the battery. It's got a battery and some sort of a spinny thing on it, propeller, fan, whatever. Those things, it's pretty good. I don't think they'll ever quite be good enough for transatlantic flights or really long flights. Can't really see that happening for electric. Because to get them going that fast and up that high, it's got to be kind of a jet. The propellers aren't quite as they're not quite as efficient when they're up really high because the air is thinner and the propellers don't cut through the air as well. They can go up to a certain, like about 18,000 feet, I think generally is good. But if you're going transatlantic, ideally you want to be up higher so that you can take advantage of jet streams and you can also avoid weather. So I don't see, in 20 years, I think we'll still be having jets flying around with Jet A. The thing is, if we're going to have like supersonic travel, that's a whole lot of energy. You're not going to have electronic or electric battery powered supersonic planes. And then, there could be space travel too. There's talk about that, orbital, but I'll get into that a little bit later. So fuel, I'm thinking short hops, it'll be electric and battery powered, and it should be pretty reliable. And everything else, that would probably go into jet fuel. And there's always going to be, some There's going to be some niche markets out there for the rich guys that want to fly a Mustang or a Spitfire, and they hop in their $5 million plane and burn a whole bunch of leaded gas, which I think is pretty cool, actually. Anyways, you can't beat the sound of a Merlin, man. I mean, so anyways, okay, what do we got here? So we're going to talk about number 3 is okay, pilots, and we'll say instrumentation. Instruments. Okay, so we'll say pilots, instruments, and what that interface would be. So, I mean, they're talking about good old Elon there is talking about getting the chip in the head with all the little spider webs and everything. Will it happen 20 years from now? You never know. Everyone can be like, yeah, I got the chip. It's cool. And then everyone goes off and they get all schizophrenic and stuff, but we'll be used to it by then. There's enough schizophrenic people running around right now. It's like you're getting kind of used to it. So, instruments. Here we go. Yeah, but I mean, you never, it's one of those things. The 20-year plan, my personal 20-year plan, is that you just can't imagine what's going to be happening in the future. So, could people have chips and wires and stuff so that you can hook your brain up with Wi-Fi to your computer like this? And maybe. And would you be able to do that for, the instrumentation in airplanes throughout the years has always been getting better and better, where, we're going from some weird little, here's a string blowing around to see which way the wind's blowing. That's, how much yaw is there. Then we go to a little ball and a little glass tube, magnetic compasses. And then now we got like GPSs. For a while there, we were using Lorenz C, which is a marine-based navigation system that we don't use anymore. But yeah, so there's all the communications and everything. You could be flying around and just boom, there'll be some notification going out to all the pilots in their heads saying okay, there's a storm at this, and then it goes in your head at the same time it shows up on the screen or something. I don't know, maybe. I don't really would want to have a chip in my head, but yeah, some people might think it's cool. Or they might it might statistically be safer to have a chip in the head. I don't know. And if they find that to be safer, it'll probably be mandatory that if you want to be a pilot on the airlines, you got to take the chip in the head. Well, you never know. 20 years. Okay, so then, so instrumentation, it's just going to get better and better, more interactive. There's like LCD or screens right now that, it's got all your information all in one little package. So rather than looking at all these instruments all over the place, like the instrumentation is going to become a lot more intuitive, we'll put it that way. And it'll be hands off. So you'll say, change route from Gatwick to Frankfurt because of weather. Boom, and it just happens. So you could do that. Although that's a long diversion to go from Gatwick to Frankfurt. I don't know. I was just thinking of whatever pops into my head. Maybe it was the chip. I don't think so. Okay, another one that's going to be different is the airspace. Okay, so right now, if you're a pilot, you know all about there's different airspaces. There's places you just look up in the air. Most people look up in the air and they say, oh, there's a plane flying over there. Or, oh, there's a helicopter over there. But when you actually learn how to fly, just like you have roads in your city or your town or your county, up in the sky, there's certain places where you can go and places where you can't go. Or if you do go here because there's more traffic, maybe you need permission to go there. So that would be around busy airports or something like that. So yeah, the airspace would be, I'm guessing, here's my 20-year. Okay, we're going to start up at the top here. Okay. I'm thinking they're going to be regulating the, right now, if you get above 60,000 feet, it's considered, I think it's 60,000 feet, it's considered uncontrolled airspace. I could see that changing with more I don't know, with more rocket ships going up there and stuff. And okay, and there will be. Okay, I'm gonna write this down real quick. I'll say regular and drone. Okay, so I'm thinking that by altitude, there's going to be, okay, up at the highest, you're going to have your space traffic. So that's going to be regulated with all your, I don't know, suborbital kind of space shuttle kind of things. They'll take off with a rocket, go through the orbit, and then come back down. And so, I mean, you'll be able to go from, what is it, like Paris to Shanghai in like 3 hours or something like that. And then, okay, first you're going to have your space-based airspace. Then you're going to get into, I would say there's going to be a lot more supersonic, just like the, what'd you call it? The Concorde. Well, I mean, that Concorde they've been working on supersonic vehicles. Concorde it was kind of like brute force when they made the Concorde. It was like, okay, let's burn a whole pile of gas. The Concorde actually wasn't that big. If you see any pictures inside, it's kind of a cramped, like it's kind of a smaller plane inside. And it was super cool though. I wish I got to go on the Concorde, but anyways, nope, it timed out, got a little too old. But that wing design and everything, it was designed for supersonic flight, and I think it used to fly I think it was 60,000 feet. Most planes here, I guess the highest you'd probably get up in some corporate jets is up just a bit above 40,000. Most other jets are around 30, 35, something like that. Okay, but I think there's going to be enough traffic in the future that we're going to have our space airspace, supersonic airspace, and then your regular airspace, which would be pretty much the way it is right now. And then when you get down to the bottom, it's going to be drone airspace. So basically, there's going to be drones flying all around your city 20 years from now, self-flying taxis, things like that. That'll all be considered drone traffic, probably. Unmanned, I guess. So autonomous traffic. So that'll be all at the lower levels, and then they'll be able to kind of watch out for each other there and have specific routes programmed into their computers, and you can't deviate from it. So that'll work fine for that. And okay, number 5, I was having a hard time to think in the future what would change. But I mean, there's still going to be passengers going around. Okay, what's going to happen with the passengers? Well, let me think here. Generally, the trend is that everybody's getting bigger and fatter. So I think we're probably going to have wider seats. It's going to affect the cost of your ticket because it costs more money to haul an extra 100 pounds across the ocean. So, you might be paid by weight, or you could have that built into your phone that it has all your biometric data. And then, so it'll assign you a seat that's wider, or like your biometric data will tell the BMI, and it'll know your height and everything for customs. And it'll just all feed in there, and you'll get the perfect seat for someone that's tiny or someone that's big. That could be it. It'll all be kind of integrated information. And I don't know, and I'm trying to think there too of flight attendants. Do you think we would ever get robot flight attendants? I wonder. FAs. I'm going to put a question mark on that one. Robot flight attendants. I don't know, because I mean, they get trained for if you if there's an accident or something like that. There could be a hole in the fuselage over here. They could be in the water. They'll have to deploy the chutes or the little slides that come out. And there's something there too, just managing humans around, and that's one of the reasons why pilots wear their ties and their cool hats, and they got short hair and all that stuff. It's to like kind of command respect, and people usually just do if someone's in some sort of a uniform, they just do what they say. Some security guy, some guy in a security guard outfits like directing traffic. I'll go like, I don't know. I guess he's getting paid for it. Okay, and so I think I'm not sure if you could really get away with having robots as a flight attendant. Just like I don't think you could get away with a fully autonomous airplane. Not yet. I just can't picture it. But like my plan says, in 20 years, you never know. So there we go. That's my little future. Just a few thinkings about the future of flying. We'll go over that again. Okay, weather flight planning. That's all going to be done by AI. So I don't even know what they're going to test for in the future. I guess they probably stick to the old school testing for just because not every airplane out there is going to be fully high tech. Like that's still going to be expensive. It'll still be cheaper to get some meat in the seat instead of having a full autopilot crew, I guess. But AI is going to take care of all kinds of planning. It might even be like on the captain's phone or something. You're like, yeah, do this, boom, sync it up with like they already have iPads that sync up with the flight instruments. Like as soon as it comes into range, it syncs up, and then all the information that's on the iPad that was hooked up to Wi-Fi 2 seconds ago, it's got a what do you call it? SIM card in it, and yeah, so it just updates everything to the flight instruments and stuff. So AI is going to go nuts on that, and it'll probably happen. I don't know. Certification for that stuff takes a while, but I could see it really happening quickly in the amateur built or the experimental home built market. Everyone will look, hey, check out, because these guys like to tinker around with all the latest doodads, and they don't have to get it certified by anyone. It's like, hey, I got to do all my flight planning on my phone. Hey, phone, do this, boom, sync it up, and away they go. It'll take a while for that to be certified for general use, but 20 years from now. Okay, fuel. Going to be a lot more electric drones, stuff like that, battery powered. The further you go, the more gas you're going to burn, more Jet A. What else we got here? Pilots, instrumentation. It's going to become a lot more intuitive, and it might even just be, you might get the chip, 20 years, who knows? And airspace is going to be a little bit more regulated because there's going to be new categories of aircraft like like space taxis and drones and stuff flying around. And passengers, I don't know. I'm thinking the passengers, it'll be a lot more. It'll be more efficient. There'll be more data sharing going on, and they'll just assign you a seat. If you're a little chubby, you get the chubby seat, and if you're thinner, you get the thinner seat. Or the seats might adjust for that. So. And robot flight attendants, I'm thinking no, but you never know. They might have, or they might have a flight attendant instead of, they might have flight attendants, but no pilots too. You could think of that. Yeah, so there we go. That's thoughts on the future. Man, I couldn't really think of anything else to talk about today, but I think that's about it. Yeah. So if things work out, the weather's looking really good this weekend. I am planning on going flying tomorrow. We'll see how that works out. And my neighbor Travis, he's playing in his band tomorrow night. Doors open at 8 at the Chelsea, and hopefully I'll be down there. And he's opening for some other guys. So that's good, because the old guys like me, we're not staying up till 2 o'clock in the morning getting our brains blasted out by rock bands anymore. But yeah, okay. And then what else is up this weekend? Happy Easter, I guess. Yeah. Get those Easter potatoes. They're cheaper than eggs. Okay, and all right, Dan, thanks for popping in here. And that's about it. So I guess I'll just kind of shut her down. And thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. Bye.